Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a fun Friday. I'm Teresa McGallicher, and I just had an insight that I wanted to share with all of you. So I thought I would jump on this quick Facebook Live to talk about why we have fears and how we can get away from having fears or undo those fears. So the insight that I had was that we are only afraid of things when we believe they are real. You can't be afraid of an imaginary thing. If you, you can fear that some imaginary thing may come to pass, but you still have to believe that that imaginary thing could be a real thing in your present reality. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples so you know that what I'm talking about. And I think one of the biggest fears that almost all of us have is the fear of death. None of us want to stop existing, and there's a big fear that, that's going to happen. Obviously, everybody on the planet is going to die at some point. Like, that's a reality. But why are we afraid of that? We're afraid of that because we believe that we're this physical body. We believe that we're this personality, and that's the ego. And the ego will die. It can't go on forever. But only the ego is afraid of dying. So when you come to the realization that you are not the ego, that you are not just this limited body, you are not just this personality, that there is so much more to you than that, that you are the essence that inhabits this body, and that goes on forever, and that never dies, then the fear of death goes away. As long as you think you're a body that's only going to live for 60 or 70 or 80 years, there's going to be a fear of death. When you know that you are not just a body, that you are actually spirit, that you are something that cannot be seen in physical form, and that thing never dies, it goes on forever, there's no longer a reason to be afraid of death. So what I was thinking about this morning was everybody has that fear of death. That has gone away for me, but I still have little fears about other things because of my conditioning and programming, and I'm sure that you do too. So this morning I was thinking about the fear of failure. One of the things that I've worried about throughout my life is failing, getting it wrong, embarrassing myself, doing something and screwing it up. And I've come to realize over the years that you can't get anything wrong. Like, you just can't. That's not even a thing. You do things, they don't work out maybe the way that you hoped, and then you try something else. And there might be some loss in the process, like you could lose time doing the wrong thing. You could lose money doing the wrong thing, but it's all just part of a learning experience. That's all just feedback for you to see what works and what doesn't work, what feels good and what doesn't feel good. And when you take the judgment away from it and you stop making certain outcomes right or wrong, and you see them as just feedback, you lose the fear of failure, because you understand that you can't really fail at anything. There is no failure, so how could you be afraid of it? Am I making myself clear? So the things that you believe in, if you believe in death, you will have a fear of death. If you believe in failure, you will have a fear of failure. A lot of people fear illness or fear pain or fear becoming weak or sick. I've never had that fear in my life. And as a result, I've never gotten very sick because it's not a real thing for me. It's not like sickness isn't a thing that I believe in. I don't put my focus and my energy and my belief system into illness. I don't think about it a lot, and therefore it's not a fear for me. So the things that you worry about, the things that you believe in, are the things that you are going to fear. Another common fear besides the fear of death and the fear of failure is the fear of I had an idea I wanted to share with you, and now it's just escaped me, but you're welcome to chime in here and tell me what you're afraid of. My point is, you are creating your own reality with your belief system and your thoughts. And if you want to have a reality that is free from fear, you need to look at the things that you believe in and question them. Is that really true? Is it really true that failure is a thing? Is it really true that death is a thing? Like, a lot of people are afraid of, yeah, I'm running out of steam here. So if you have a fear that you want to share with me, I can't even think of any fears. I'm living in such a fearless state right now. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, that fear of getting it wrong, fear of failure was a big thing for me. I'm an Enneagram Type 1. I don't know if you're familiar with the Enneagram system, but it's a super cool way of understanding the lens that each of us see the world through. And the Enneagram 1 type sees the world through the lens of always trying to get it right, always trying to do the right thing, always trying to be a good person. And so the fear of failure was a big thing for me. So for other types, for example, the Enneagram Type 4, they see the world through the lens of being unique, being creative, being special, being different. And so a fear for the Enneagram Type 4 would be being ordinary, just being like everybody else. And that would drive the way that they operate in the world. But when you understand that no one is ordinary, we are all unique and special, like we're born unique and special, that fear can go away for you. And the Enneagram Type 6, okay, now I'm talking about the Enneagrams, but this is the way things flowed today for me. Sorry if it seems like a sidetrack to you, but the Enneagram Type 6, which is the most common one, is all about seeing the world through the lens of security and safety. So if you believe that danger is a real thing that's really out there, you're going to live in fear. You're going to live in fear of being assaulted, being attacked, being victimized in some way. When you understand that nothing can ever really harm you, everything that happens to you is just for your growth, for your expansion, to raise your consciousness, there's no longer a need to be afraid of danger. It's not a bad thing, it's just a thing. So when we stop judging things as good or bad, as positive or negative, as safe or dangerous, that fear goes away. That fear dissipates. So I encourage you to check out the Enneagram if you've never heard of it before. It comes from the Greek word ennea, which is the word for 9, and gram, which means, there are 9 different personality types on the chart, and whichever one you are never changes. You're born that way and you stay that way. But there are different levels to it. So you could be a low functioning Enneagram Type 2 who sees the world through wanting and needing to be loved and helpful to other people. And that type of person will be a very codependent person who's always doing things for other people because they have a fear of not being loved if they don't do enough, if they don't serve. So you find Enneagram Type 2 in a lot of service industries, nursing, teaching, those kinds of professions. And then there's a high functioning level for each type. So a high functioning level 2 knows that they're loved. They're not seeking love, but they're still of service. They're of service without attachment. It's not conditional. They're not trying to get something in return for their service. They're not giving to get. They're giving for the joy of giving because they know they're loved. And that fear of not being loved. So bottom line here, the things that you fear are the things that you believe are real. The things that you fear are the things that you have faith in. They're the things you believe in. And when you understand that there's nothing to fear, well, I think it was Roosevelt said there's nothing to fear but fear itself. You can shift that energy, you can shift that fear into some kind of it will just dissipate. It will go away when you look at it and you see that that's not a valid fear because that thing you're afraid of doesn't really exist. that very just awareness of the situation will allow it to disappear. So, what are you afraid of and why? Why do you believe whatever you're afraid of is true? Who told you that? Do you have proof? We always see evidence of the things that we believe. It's not that we see evidence and then we form our beliefs. That's not the way it works. We have beliefs and then we look for evidence to confirm our beliefs. So you can figure out what you believe in by looking at the things that you fear, and you can question those beliefs, and you can recognize that no belief is true. No belief is true. Every belief has a lie in it. If you look at the way the word is spelled, L-I-E-F, and every belief has a lie in it. And when you believe something, it means you don't know it for a fact. When you know something, you don't have to believe in it. You believe in Santa Claus. You believe in Tooth Fairy. You believe in the Easter Bunny. You never actually seen those things. Somebody just told you about them. And then when you know the truth, when you know that it was really just some guy dressing up in a red suit or a bunny costume, that's a different thing from believing. So look at your beliefs, look at your fears, ask yourself why you believe the things that you believe, and how is that serving you? Because if it's creating fear in your life, it's not serving you. The way to go through life is fearlessly. Fears hold us back. They're limits. Fears keep us from living our best life. They keep us from doing amazing things with our lives. They're barriers to expressing life fully. And when you can let fears go, you will find that your life will really, really level up. All right, I think that is enough on that topic for today. I just wanted to jump on before I lost the thought and share it with you. I'm so glad to see you here on Here Live with me, and I'll see you again next time. Have an awesome day. I'm Teresa McGallicher from the Miracles Tribe, and I love you. Bye-bye.